Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Ask Me Anything WordPress from the Baltimore WordPress Meetup. This is our meetup for February 11th, 2025. The Baltimore WordPress Meetup video and links are usually available in about 2 weeks on YouTube. The links that are presented in the chat will be added at the end of the recording on the YouTube video. The Baltimore WordPress Meetup is informational. Please use information, products, and services that we show at your own risk. Just because we show a website, plugin, or something else is not an official WordPress endorsement of it. As always, keep it family friendly, as many of us are attending from home. We will be doing our best to follow the WordPress community standards. That means that if you violate these standards, we will evict you from the meeting. No spamming or spammer-like behavior. We have people of all different backgrounds and skill levels, so no judgment for people who are at a different level than where you are at. And in general, don't be a jerk. We have a few sponsors to thank before we get into our meetup. The first sponsor is Anfira. Anfira helps companies serious about their WordPress development needs. They specialize in helping agencies and businesses that are frustrated by their WordPress challenges. If you're looking for help, go ahead and visit anfira.com/help, and this link will be in the chat. Our second sponsor is the Easy Alley Guide. The Easy Alley Guide works to make web accessibility easier to implement through done-for-you tools and processes. For more information on web accessibility, including a whole wide Learn section, go ahead and visit easyalleyguide.com. And our third sponsor for the evening is OB Digital Consulting. OB sponsors our video recordings and prepares them for YouTube. Contact them for assistance with your video production needs. We will be using the chat to queue people up and for short questions, so please go ahead and find your Zoom chat, open it up. Everyone is muted to start, and I'll unmute you to answer. No one knows everything, but we'll do our best to try and help everyone else out. We had a few people who pre-submitted questions. So if any of these people are here, just go ahead and type here in the Zoom chat, and we'll do your questions first, and then we'll get to the general questions. The people are Benjamin, Lish, Kevin, Adrian, Keith, Gary, and Carolyn. And so we will do these in this order. So it looks like Keith, Carolyn are here. So Keith is the first one in line. So we are going to start with Keith. And I'm going to send Keith a unmute if he would like to. So Keith's question that he sent in: I am a new user of WordPress and I'm currently setting up a website for your radio control airplane club. I started setting up the site, I created pages, but they are not displaying on my homepage. I can access them through the appearance editor, but they do not appear in the website's homepage. Could you get assistance for how to get there? Well, that is going to depend very much on the theme that you are using. So do you know off the top of your head the theme name?
No, I don't.
We will just look it up. Your theme is called Variations. Let's take a look and see if there's any information. It is a block theme. Comes with templates and block patterns. Okay, so your menu system is a bit different than the traditional WordPress menu system. It's specifically a block-based menu system. This is a complaint that a lot of people have, is that it's difficult to find and edit the menu. I assume you're experiencing that same issue.
Oh, yes.
The good news is there are a bunch of tutorials for how to actually get to where on earth the menu is in your block theme. I don't happen to have a block theme installed and handy at the moment, but there is some information on the learn.wordpress and they have a whole bunch of tutorials here within learn.wordpress. And I'll drop the link to this in the chat. And this particular one is from Courtney Robertson, and Courtney is a super, super wonderful person and has prepared a ton of really great educational content. So this is an 11-minute tutorial that will walk you through the navigation menu in a block theme and how to get through that whole mess. And then there's also some other good learn content here within this learn.wordpress.org. And anything that Courtney's written is going to be pretty good.
Okay, yeah, I signed up for a class taken at the community college to make this help a little more.
So you want to find out whether the class is using the block-based themes or if it's using classic themes, as those are very, very different activities.
Okay, thanks for telling me that.
You're welcome. But yes, go ahead and take a look at some of the navigation block content from Courtney, as well as some other people in the learn.wordpress.org.
Anything to make it a little easier is a wonderful thing.
Yes, there is, like I said, Courtney produces some really good learn content. So anything by her, go ahead and watch. There's a whole bunch of tutorials here within about how to do different things. So please go ahead and take a look through some of that content. I think it'll be really helpful for you.
I greatly appreciate that.
You're welcome. All right, our next person up is Carolyn. Let me grab your question. So Carolyn had asked if there's about a Facebook plugin from Smash Balloon to repost content to the feed. So that is going to specifically have to do with Facebook, and Facebook has a whole bunch of issues regarding the sourcing of content. You regularly have to reconnect, and even then it has a number of limitations, and that is again from the Facebook end of things.
Okay. I wasn't sure if there was something I was missing, like if there a better plugin or a setting.
Smash Balloon has some pretty good feed plugins. There is also, let me grab this. There's also a plugin called WP Social Ninja.
Okay.
And I know the developers of this one. And so this has some options to put in some content from Facebook feeds. Smash Balloon, let's take a look, see if they have a demo here. Find demo.
But all
So
I could find was that if we were resharing content that was publicly posted is that it didn't necessarily appear. But if we created our own content in the text box, post text box, that seems to appear no problem.
yes, reshared content is a limitation from Facebook's end. So you're going to have a lot of problems with the reshared content. But if you've created public posts yourself and you're trying to share your own public posts, those should go out fine.
That's kind of what I'm seeing. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, that is very much a limitation coming from Facebook's end of things. So
Thanks.
hopefully that helps.
Yeah, that's pretty much where I ended up, and I was just sort of doing due diligence because my organization wanted to be able to reshare and have it show up on our website, or because it looks bad to see those content isn't available right now boxes.
Yes, you'll need to actually not just click the reshare on Facebook, but you'll need to actually create your own post about it.
Got it. Thank you.
Yep. Eagle had just posted up a link into the chat with information on a tutorial for the block themes. All right, now that we have gone through the people who had pre-submitted, we will ask once again if these folks are here. Benjamin, Lish, Kevin, Adrian, or Gary. If not, we will move on to open questions from the chat. And it looks like Karen has posted up a question. Oh, we have Gary first. Gary, let me grab your question.
Yes. Do you want me to elaborate, Jen?
I'll read out your question first, and then you can go ahead and elaborate.
Sure.
What key features of the current core WordPress version 6.7 do you think of most interest to users, and what big changes are likely to come in the next version? So if you want to elaborate on that at all.
No, it's probably self-explanatory. I've seen some of the explanations or videos on the WordPress site or talks
Mhm.
by Matt Mullenweg, but yeah, I'd be interested to see what your take is on the key features, both current with the new version and what might be coming down the pike.
So there's the official WordPress roadmap, which is kind of what they think is coming in the future. So the next version is planned for April of this year, 6.8, and there's not a whole lot of information on it yet. But the question is, I think the next big thing that might be coming is collaborative editing, but that would essentially be something slightly similar to the collaborative editing experience in Google Docs, but probably not nearly as good. Google Docs was specifically designed and built and has servers to support their multiple person editing experience. It's a very ambitious goal, and I don't know if it's coming out. It's planned for phase 3 of the Gutenberg project, but I don't know if that will come to fruition, and if it does come to fruition, exactly how good it will be. That's one that people who are managing sites with many different authors have been asking for, but a lot of WordPress sites are smaller, and having only one person editing a page at a given time isn't really a big bottleneck for them. Let's see. I don't even remember the highlights from WordPress 6.7 release. They kind of all start to blend together after a while. So there was a new theme, although to most users, I don't think that really matters. One thing that I heard some people were enjoying was the zoom out feature, which kind of allows you to zoom out on your page that you're building to kind of get more of a kind of larger view of it. Kind of similar to what you can do in Figma. You can kind of zoom out on something to kind of get an overview of the actual page, kind of see where things are. There were some updates for fonts, but I honestly don't think that most users are going to really notice much of anything. There were some support items for performance and accessibility. Those will affect some people, but not necessarily everyone. That appears to be it for 6.7. As far as what I saw for most people, it was kind of eh. There wasn't really much new. And Eagle just shared a link for the roadmap for 6.8. And it looks like some options for design improvements. Eagle, have you read this? Are you more familiar with it?
Not really. I mean, 6.7 was mostly just fixing things that were,
Mm-hmm.
like, in fact, 6.7 actually introduced new breaks, and 6.71 came out immediately, and 6.72 comes out today. It's
Hey.
rolling out right now. And then 6.8 rolls out shortly.
Yeah,
So,
6.7.2 that came out today has actually resolved a couple of weird React bugs that a couple of clients had.
yeah. So, I mean, I haven't been majorly impressed with any of the new features. The Zoom thing is like, oh, well, that's cool. A lot of people like it because you can see the whole page all at once, but it's still, they release things, without having them fully implemented and
Mhm.
fully vetted and tweaked. And so I'm not excited about anything new until I see that it actually works well.
Yes, a lot of times the first version is not particularly exciting, and it's a couple iterations later before it becomes stable enough to use.
I think probably the query loop that's coming in 6.8 will be a big boost because there should be some new improvements. However, I use the advanced query loop, which is a block that automatic people made, so it works well. So I don't know.
Yeah, there's a quite a bit of feedback I've seen of some of the block enhancement plugins, and okay, this block enhancement plugin is really doing a ton of useful stuff. Why is this not in core?
Yeah, I mean, seriously, I use Gutenberg blocks for most of my block editing stuff, which has far more capabilities than what Core has. Core itself doesn't really excite me. Sorry.
Okay, you can definitely have that opinion. Yes,
Yeah.
most people I know who are using it have an add-on or a couple of add-ons to really extend the basic functionality, add some stuff that, a lot of the other builders have, such as the, paddings and margins and just some of these features that a ton of other block packs have available. All right, I think we got that covered. Hopefully, Gary, that covered your question.
That's fine, Jen, and thanks, Eagle, for your comments as well.
All right, next up we have Karen had put a question into the chat. We are now going to enter the open questions portion. So you can put just a question mark into the chat if you want to speak your question. If you have a shorter question, you just want to type it, go ahead and just type it into the chat. Karen had asked, looking for advice on how to remove products listed for sale on my e-commerce website. I've been told it's very easy, just delete. However, this method results in broken links. So you're looking for a solution to remove products from the website without totally breaking everything. The short answer is you probably want a 301 redirect.
Okay, Jen, this is Karen. So I'm currently using the redirection plugin.
Mhm.
But I'm wondering, is that the answer going forward?
So I probably wouldn't use, you can continue to use the redirection plugin. I'm a big fan of it. I've used it a lot. But what you might want to look into is sending all of your 404 links to somewhere like the home page or the shop page or something like that.
Right, and that's what I've been doing when I go back in through the redirection plugin. But is there a way, as I delete each product, to at that time just redirect that product? I mean, would I just do that
So,
again with my redirection plugin, or?
So within the redirection plugin, there is a setting to monitor for when something changes, when something happens, and give you a little notice. I don't remember exactly where in the plugin the setting is. They might have it in their screenshots, but it would probably be under the options section.
Okay.
And there they would have some settings. Here we've got some of the screenshots from their options page. But basically, the URL monitor changes setting, if you can see my screen.
Yes.
And so I'm pretty certain that you can set this for deleted posts and create a redirect for it. I believe this works. Otherwise, you can modify your 404.php template to have that just redirect. Or you can use a plugin which will handle redirecting any 404 error to a different page. You can also, with the monitoring changes, have it notify you when there's a change so that you can add a redirect.
So what would you recommend that might be the easiest?
I believe with this URL monitor changes that you can select deleted and set them to automatically go somewhere like your shop page.
Okay.
So every time you delete a post, it would automatically create something for it.
Okay. All right. Very good. Thank you so much.
Yep. Our next question comes from Mark McNeil. Any recommendations for a plugin compatible with Elementor Pro that will handle an organizational members only section content and handling of managing associated member information. Can you tell me more about what kind of members these are and whatnot?
Yeah, so we're a volunteer organization, and we're ready to revamp our website from another provider. And we have members that can sign up themselves to access the members-only content of our current website, and as well as certain admins that manage the members as well. So we're just looking for any recommendations for plugin that may handle that best to manage that membership for our organization.
So there's a lot of different members plugins. One that I like and I've used quite a few times is this one called Groups. And it is one of the simpler ones. You can basically just designate a group, and you can designate certain pages to be restricted to that group, and then only people who are logged in and in the appropriate group can access them. And it's a pretty simple one to work with. It also has a lot of integrations with a lot of other plugins, which I found to be very helpful. But in general, it's one of the easier ones to work with. There's also hundreds of others.
Right.
Paid Membership Pro, Carolyn listed. That one is a very popular one as well for doing memberships.
Okay, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yep. Carolyn has a question.
Hi, I'm curious about moving to single sign-on on WordPress and just sort of like the process to make that happen if I'm one of the organizations I work with uses actually Membership Works, which has its own like sign-in, but I don't know. I was reading about single sign-on being more secure in the long run and just wondering if what the process is to even look at that. Yeah.
It's generally more complex in the long run.
Oh, no.
Oh, yes. So single sign-on basically requires an authentication system and a known authentication provider to handle the single sign-on securely. I've done it with Auth0 before. Do not use any of these that have this orange symbol by Mini Orange. They've had a lot of security issues in the past, so don't use those.
Mm.
Auth0 is from Okta. They're one of the largest authorization providers out there. So I would be pretty comfortable with theirs. And I've used this one before. Basically, it requires getting you all set up with Auth0 and connecting the systems together through a number of hoops. They do have a bit of documentation on their site, but definitely you'll need to develop, set aside a testing website and some time to look into it and look into the integration and getting it all set up. It's not just plug and play.
And the biggest feature or biggest reason to do this would be to protect data that like people would be accessing by signing in.
The biggest reason to do single sign-on is for user convenience.
Oh,
It's if the user already has their own account set up with another system, allowing you to go straight from that system to be logged into the WordPress.
okay.
It's really about if a user is going from one system to another system, getting them automatically set up and connected, making that process streamlined and simple. It's
Okay.
not for security.
Oh, okay. So maybe I need to think about this a little bit more if we really have to do it or not do it. Thank you.
Just basic security. All you need is basic user account setup. You don't need single sign-on. Single sign-on adds a whole additional section of security you have to look into. Because if either end is compromised, then depending on how it's connected, if one is compromised, they can automatically access the other one, or sometimes it can be set up that way. Eagle put a note into the chat that 2FA is a common one to increase security. There's quite a few plugins out there that handle 2FA codes. And while I'm waiting to see if there's any final questions, I will go ahead and post up some links. If you're looking for WordPress help outside of Meetup time slots, there's a couple of links that I just posted. The first is our Baltimore WordPress Meetup page, which has a bit of information on it. And the second one is wphelpdesk.support, which is a site that lists a number of different meetups and other resources for getting support. All right, it looks like there aren't any more questions, so I will go ahead and end the meetup for the evening. Thank you all for joining us on this somewhat snowy evening here. It was great having you all, and hopefully I will see you at the next meetup.